Welcome to the 7th part of this How to Move a WordPress blog tutorial at definitely.com. In the first video, we went over things you'll need, the step-by-step process, how to prepare your blog. In video 2, we went over exporting a database. In part 3, we went over preparing your new host. In 4, we went over importing database. In 5, we went over transferring files. In 6, we went over testing and debugging the new site. And in 7, we're going to go over moving your domain name, a DNS change at your registrar. And this is, in this case, I'm using GoDaddy. It's typically the same thing, the same kind of process, no matter what the registrar is, because all we're doing is a domain name server name switch. Let me show you. So if you head on back to your new web host's control panel, you should find somewhere, probably under some DNS tab or domain name tab. DNS stands for domain name system. You'll find their name servers. This is the name that you want to put into the record at your registrar. So I'm just going to copy the first one. I can see that they're basically the same, and they usually are, except for the 1 and the 2. Then go over to your registrar, log in, and go to whatever control panel they have for managing domain names. So typically navigate to where you see the list of domain names. Scroll down to that domain name, click on it. And you usually will find something that says set name servers or domain name servers or DNS servers, something like that. Click on the navigation to get into that control panel to change those name servers. As you can see, I've already done this actually. I'm going to paste these in, and I'm going to click OK. This usually takes a couple of days. What GoDaddy actually says is this usually can take 2 hours. However, it may take up to 48 hours for these changes to take effect. And basically what's happening is that around the world, around the internet, there is a network of domain name servers that are all interconnected and talking to each other. The registrars will manage the actual domain name record as well as the domain name server at your ISP, and those two things talk to each other. And what they're trying to do, all they're doing is equating your domain name with your IP address and routing traffic. And because it's a network around the world of different servers, domain name servers, it takes between 2 and 48 hours these days for that name change to propagate. So that's why you really have to have both sites up, in the old spot and the new spot, up for a couple days for all of that to happen, and to be 100% sure that that you're hitting the right spot. Let me show you a trick. I've made a little file called moved.html. Let me open it in a text editor so you can see just how simple this is. It's just a text file called moved.html, and it says moved site. That's all it says. There's no HTML actually. And I can upload this into the root directory, the web directory of my moved site. So now I have a test. If I type in moved.html, it'll show moved site when that site has been moved. So now let me show you an advanced trick. Let's say your ISP hasn't updated, and when you hit your domain name, you're not seeing the moved file. You're not seeing the new site. You're seeing the old site, but you really want to see the new site. There's a trick. There is software called proxy software. And I use something called Netscape. I don't usually use this, but I have it. So in certain cases, it really comes in useful. What Netscape does is they make this kind of software for privacy reasons, so that you can cloak where you are, and you can come in to a website from another location. But it's really useful for testing stuff, and to be honest, that's why I bought it. I'm not a hacker. And so I can come in from the Czech Republic. I can come in from Fremont, California. And what you might find, or what you will find when you've moved a site, is that you might find that through your ISP, or your ISP's proxy server, that hasn't updated. So you're seeing the old site, and you're not seeing the moved file. You're not seeing the moved site. But through Netshade or another proxy software, you might be able to come in from a place, from another place, and then try refreshing, and you might end up seeing your moved file. Now my ISP is already updated, so this is not a live test, but this would show you exactly the way it would work. That I would basically be trying different proxies around the world until I found one that my moved file showed. And then when I did, then I knew I could log in to my admin and work on my blog, because the domain name has been transferred at that location. You might be wondering, well, why would a proxy in China be updated before a proxy, in Fremont? That doesn't make any sense. The reason is different networks and different proxies update on regular intervals. And so some update more often than others. So your ISP may just not update very often, and some ISP in the Czech Republic might, or in China or somewhere else. And so that's why it has more to do with the update schedule of the network that you happen to be connected on through your internet service provider than it does with how actually those domain names are propagated out through the domain name system. So that's the advanced explanation for that. Now, the reason it's important to be able to view your site on the transferred domain name as soon as possible after you transfer it at your registrar is because your permalinks might be broken. You saw that I changed them when we were doing the testing, but then you're going to need to change them back to the permalinks with just your domain name in it. So get back into your website as quickly as you can after. Go to Settings, Permalinks, and just click the Save Changes button. And that'll update the permalinks. This is really the last thing that you would need to do to your moved blog. So at this point, the site's moved. In a couple of days, I'll take down the old site, and all the work is done. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and definitely subscribe to definitely.com. So I ran across this example this morning. I hate it when this happens. The video you're trying to watch cannot be viewed from your current location, your country, or location. It's like, WTF, people. Why are you blocking content?